Bombshell businessman Julio Martínez Julito spills the beans and listen up, reveals the commission Zapatero received for the Plus Ultra bailout. Let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Medidas Cautelares, an urgent and very special edition. Because after so many weeks, finally, businessman Julio Martínez, known as Julito, is following in the footsteps of businessman Victor de Aldama. And he's blowing the whistle on Zapatero in the Plus Ultra case. He has just submitted a statement to the judge of the National Court, José Luis Calama, where he spills everything and implicates the former Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero for having received illegal commissions from the bailout given by Pedro Sánchez's government to the airline Plus Ultra. Don't miss this video, because we have the statement that Julio Martínez has just submitted to the National Court and we're going to share it on screen, just like we always do. But of course, before that, remember to subscribe to the Medidas Cautelares channel, because we're already on our way to 142,000 subscribers and now we have, attention, this bombshell, this statement that has just been submitted by none other than Julio Martínez's defense team. Julito, as many of you have been asking, is Julito going to spill the beans? When is he going to do it? Well, a day before testifying before Judge Calama, he's already giving us a preview because tomorrow Julio Martínez is scheduled to testify before Judge Calama. But today he has already submitted a statement in which he's spilling everything. And let's get into it. This statement, submitted by Julio Martínez's lawyer, whose name is María Dolores Márquez de Prado, says the following: that Julio Martínez will appear in court on the 21st of this month. He will do so as a suspect with the purpose of answering any questions posed by the magistrate, the investigating judge, as well as by the public prosecutor and his defense. First piece of news, tomorrow he will answer Judge Calama, the anti-corruption prosecutor's office, and his own lawyer. Through this document, we hereby state that Mr. Martínez, in order to cooperate and help clarify the facts that are being investigated. News to anticipate, without prejudice to what he may say in his statement, a brief explanation of his connections and relationships. Prosecutor's office, the former president and also under investigation, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, the company Plus Ultra. And the rest of the companies that contracted with Análisis Relevante, and pay attention, because here are the rest of the companies that contracted with relevant analysis and attention, because here we're now getting into two very important points where Julio Martínez Julito is going to tell everything. It's 6 pages, it's all worth reading, we're going to read it all. About the relationship between Julio Martínez and former President Rodríguez Zapatero. Point 1. It was in 2011 when a mutual friend, Javier de Paz, told Julio Martínez, a businessman dedicated to real estate investment, about the purchase of a house in Vera, Almería, owned by the then Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero and his wife. After Mr. Martínez accepted, the deed of sale was signed at the Moncloa Palace. In other words, we are going back to the origin of Julio Martínez's relationship with Zapatero. Shortly after, due to the shared passion for sports that José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, Javier de Paz, and Julio Martínez had, a good relationship was established. However, while he was Prime Minister, their meetings to practice this sport were few. Afterwards, until December 2025, their meetings to go running were frequent. In other words, they ran together. Javier de Paz, Julio Martínez, and José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero. It was at the end of 2019 when, in one of those meetings, Javier de Paz, together with Sergio Sánchez, proposed the idea of creating a strategic consulting firm that would have the appeal of having a former Prime Minister as a consultant and main reference. The four agreed with the proposal, leading to the creation of the now well-known company Análisis Relevante S.L. About this company, point 2, Análisis Relevante. It was established with the purpose of, quote, providing support, consulting, and other services in the field of organization and management, in which the main consultant, Mr. Zapatero, would issue reports on strategy, international relations, and so on, and would give lectures as requested by the clients. After several meetings, it was agreed that the partners of the company would include Mr. Martínez. Martínez with a 75% share and Mr. Sergio Sánchez with the remaining 25%. The initial plan was that Mr. Sergio, due to his background as a journalist, would finalize the reports prepared by the consultant, reports that would then be formatted by the company. What the Fab, that is the company owned by Zapatero's daughters, with whom a retainer agreement was established for an amount of €3,000 per month, which was paid until 2019. Mr. Rodriguez Zapatero was left out of the shareholding and formal bodies of the company, but he was the one who led it and made all the decisions regarding strategy and clients. Precisely because of his status as former president of the government and his relationships with journalists. He would finish Zapatero's daughters. A monthly retainer of €3,000 that they contracted for analysis was paid in 2019. The contracts signed with these clients were generally templates that the company had pre-designed. Relationship with Plus Ultra. Point 3. Relationship with Plus Ultra. One of Analysis Relevante's first clients was the airline Plus Ultra. The first time Julio Martínez heard about the existence of Plus Ultra was in May 2020 when Zapatero told him in advance that he was going to receive a call from the executives of this company. And indeed, on May 16, 2020, Mr. Martínez Sola and Mr. Rosselli contacted him and told him about the company's financial problems, which former President Zapatero had already informed him about, and about the need to seek funding. Martínez had no way of getting anything on his own, much less public or private funding. This is very important. His role was to act as an intermediary. For example, he suggested that they send a letter on his behalf to the Vice President of Banco Santander, Mr. Sendoya, to request an ICO loan. Also, according to what Roberto Rosselli told him, they requested funding from the entity La Caixa. None of those attempts were successful. Let's move on, since Roberto Rosselli said they requested funding from La Caixa. Una de esas vías dio. On July 3, 2020, the support fund for the solvency of strategic companies was created. From then on, the phase was managed by the State Industrial Holdings Company, CP, and after contacting Mr. Rosselli from Plus Ultra, they proceeded to obtain what had been granted to them by this organization. On July 30, 2020, watch out, here comes the agreement on illegal commission kickbacks for Zapatero. On July 30, 2020, Plus Ultra and Analysis Relevante signed a contract setting fees at €5,000 per month plus VAT. Regardless of how the contract was written, the reality was that the fees to be collected were euros mensuales más el correspondiente IVA. For the advisory services that Mr. Zapatero had been providing since May. Additionally, note this, in return for the services provided and to Mr. Martínez Zapatero, additionally, attention to the need for responses. And it was signed in January 2021. They got in touch with La Mercantil, Idella, gentlemen, and the company Idela, Consulenza Estratégica SL. That is, one of the companies linked to Zapatero, through which the first party committed to pay 1% of the financing obtained to Idela in the event that the aid requested from the Solvency Support Fund for Strategic Companies managed by CEPI was finally approved. If the requested aid from the Solvency Support Fund for Strategic Companies managed by CEPI is approved, that is, apart from the €5,000 per month plus VAT agreed between Plus Ultra and Analysis Relevante, the company linked to Zapatero agreed on 1% if the government bailed out Plus Ultra through CEPI. The work of Julio Martínez during the month following the signing of the contract with the client to obtain the requested financing. Mr. Martínez was kept promptly informed of every step taken in assisting the client to obtain the requested financing. Mr. Zapatero was promptly informed of every step that was being taken, and finally notice, this is extremely important, on February 26, 2021, he informed our Mr. Martínez that CEPI was going to grant the loan requested by Plus Ultra. Extremely important. On February 26, 2021, Zapatero informs Julio Martínez that Plus Ultra is going to be rescued. That the government would approve it, as José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero knew. A monumental scandal. Let's continue because the matter goes on. Immediately, Julio Martínez informed the main shareholders of the airline, that is of Plus Ultra, Camilo Ibrahim and Rodolfo Reyes. And indeed, the granting of the loan was approved in the Council of Ministers on March 9, 2021, after being approved by FACE on March 2, 2021. That is, Zapatero knew on February 26, 2021. Did the Council of Ministers already know that the government was going to approve it? Did they inform Mr. Martínez, and what happened in March? In other words, there is a need for answers. Before that, Zapatero knew the government was going to bail out Plus Ultra. What Julio Martínez says is a real bombshell. As for the payment of the fees agreed upon in the contract with Plus Ultra, what Julio Martínez says is a real bombshell. As for the payment of the fees agreed upon in the contract between Idealia and Plus Ultra, on January 19, 2021, due to the media pressure that existed at that time regarding the public funding granted to the airline. It was decided to defer the payment over time until the year 2026, and that part of those amounts would be invoiced through other companies related to Mr. Julio Martínez. In total, the amount paid as fees for mediating and obtaining the public aid amounted to approximately 1% of the amount obtained as agreed. This means 530,000 euros, because it should be said that Plus Ultra was bailed out with 53 million euros by the government of Pedro Sánchez. In other words, Zapatero pocketed 530,000 euros from the Plus Ultra bailout, that is, from all Spaniards' money in illegal commissions. And we finish because after the success, he says, of the first operation, the professional relationship between Análisis Relevante and Plus Ultra continued. The work carried out after March 2021 for the client was mainly related to issues to be resolved in Venezuela due to technical and logistical difficulties of the company. And for the most part, they were invoiced through companies linked to Plus Ultra and to Mr. Julio Martínez. What a bombshell we just reported in Medidas Cautelares. The businessman Julio Martínez, Julito, has just spilled the beans and has submitted a statement to Judge Calamar a day before his testimony, where he states that the former Prime Minister, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, agreed to a 1% commission for the bailout of the airline Plus Ultra by Pedro Sánchez's government. According to Julio Martínez, Zapatero would have pocketed about 530,000 euros in this illegal commission. In addition, Julito Martínez in this document also states that Zapatero knew more than 10 days in advance that Pedro Sánchez's government was going to approve the bailout of the company Plus Ultra through SEPI. Zapatero knew. 10 days before the government approved the bailout, he already knew that Pedro Sánchez's socialist administration was going to approve it. A bombshell, a huge scandal that we learn about just hours before Julio Martínez himself testifies before the National Court Judge José Luis Calama, who is investigating the Plus Ultra case. Everything that happens in that testimony, of course, you'll have it here firsthand on Medidas Cautelares. That's it for this edition of Medidas Cautelares. I hope you enjoyed the video, that you were as amazed as I was when I read the document. Leave me your opinions, your comments, and we'll see what happens. Julito is following in the footsteps of Victor Daldama and starts singing like a canary. Zapatero and Pedro Sánchez better hold on tight to their seats, because there are going to be a lot of twists and turns. You know you can leave your opinions and predictions. Feel free to share the video with anyone. And also, if you haven't done it yet, you can subscribe to Medidas Cautelares so we can reach those 141,142,000 subscribers. And of course, become members of the channel as well to give us a hand so we can feel your support. Well, you can become members like the Elegidos for less than 4 euros a month, or like the Supremos for less than 8 euros a month. You can also make contributions. Contributions via Bizum at 627-556-370, 627-556-370. As I always say, the key is making sure everyone gets this information, because information is power. See you soon.